Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 39 of Downunder The Ring podcast. I am your host, TheWarship, joined, as always, by Phid McAwesome. Get those ones in the air, folks, because SummerSlammed. It was a wild time. It has been probably, I would suggest, one of the best sort of 48 hours of professional wrestling that we've had in quite a long time. Phid, how you going?
Oh, mate, doing well. It's funny because you say, some of the best pro wrestling we've had in the last couple of days. I would say it's some of the best sports entertainment we've had in the last couple of days. But in saying that, it's off the back of a couple of pretty meh weeks of pro wrestling as well. Like, I think the build in that last week to SummerSlam was okay. Like, I think last week's CM Punk and Drew segment was dog balls. I think a lot of the stories were ready to go a week ago, and we just didn't really need any more build.
Yep.
And it was just more of the same in the lead up. But
Yep.
the other thing is, in the last 24, 48 hours, have also come to a personal realization about myself.
Okay.
I am not a pro wrestling fan.
Yep. Okay. I get that. You're a sports entertainment fan.
I am definitely a sports entertainment fan.
Yeah.
And I think it's evident of looking at what I was into this time last year with being the AEW guy to, no, you know what, I'm comfortable being a WWE guy.
Yeah.
As long as it all makes sense. And I think that's the big difference in the two shows between a year ago and now. Is a year ago AEW had a lot going on and it was all making sense and there were great angles and great storylines, and 12 months later here we are where WWE is the shit, and I have bugger all bad to say about what's going on there storyline wise.
Yeah. Look, I agree. Like I totally vibe with that as a fan, as a wrestler. Obviously, I like to see the wild and crazy stuff that happens in the ring. But as a fan, I get it. Yeah, like we've spoke en masse about like my favorites, like growing up. Triple H being one of the biggest ones for me personally, mostly because there was a really good blend, I think, of the two. Triple H wasn't the greatest wrestler, but was an excellent storyteller. And could put on matches of a high caliber given the situation and the opponent and all of that kind of stuff.
The funny thing is, I think as a kid, I was definitely a pro wrestling fan because watching WCW, I liked the likes of Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio.
The cruiserweights.
And well, I liked the cruiserweights because they were the guys that jumped around and did wild shit, and they were impressive to watch in the ring.
Yeah.
But they never got a shot at telling good stories.
No.
But I think because over time I've definitely become more of a, this is my soap opera.
Yeah. And look, that's completely fine. I think that shows that what they're doing with all of the changes we've seen over the last, 10, 15 years is absolutely working, because we're seeing a situation where wrestling is less about the wrestling and more about the story. But that being said, bad wrestling in a good story sucks. And
look, we haven't got it on our run list, and it's probably we're not going to probably go into depth at all about it. But all you have to do is have a look at the feedback from Dakota Kai and Sonya Deville from this week.
Yeah, exactly right.
The feedback online after Raw about those two was a bad match will stand out, right?
Yeah.
And props to my girl Dakota. She was trying to make a match out of that by the sounds of it, and really struggled.
And that's the thing, is just that when you watch a show, like we'll get into SummerSlam just as a real basic thing there, but SummerSlam top to bottom was good. Like there wasn't a bad match on the card. The only thing that I felt was a bit rough was the speed in which Sami Zayn lost the belt. That comes purely from a character standpoint of what Sami went through to win the belt. And the fact that he survived being murdered by Gunther. And now you're pushing him as the main champion because, spoiler, Gunther wins. But you're pushing him as the main guy. But then the guy who he got beaten by just got decimated by Bron Breakker. Now, I understand it because you want to make Bron look awesome and all of that. And I did hear that there was some timing issues with the show as well, and that their match got cut a little bit for time. But yeah, that's the only thing that's a little bit iffy for me on the show. Now, I'm a big fan of, surprisingly, and I cannot believe these words are about to leave my mouth, but the Nia Jax match, like that's an example of something that I was not expecting. And like I even posted online when we were talking about the show, I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but that was a good match. It was the right winner and the right situation.
And the thing is, I think that match in particular, like it was probably good. We're getting all the matches we don't really want to go into depth about.
Exactly.
But that was a match where I don't think it as a match was anything to write home about.
No,
it wasn't amazing. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't an amazing in-ring match. But I think it was the right match to have with the right winner, who, shit, we wouldn't have said this about Nia Jax 12 months ago.
No,
but the right winner after in the right match at the right time to further that story for Nia.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see where Bayley goes after this. I don't think it's a clear trajectory for her, but yeah, it's a prime example. Right person, right time.
I think so too. And yeah, I suppose we get the stuff out of the way that we don't really want to talk about. I suppose that it's probably worth mentioning that a lot of the matches that would have bogged down the card weren't on the card. So
no.
I think that this was really well done. Like, we didn't need to see a women's tag team championship match on the card. We didn't need to see a men's tag team championship match on the
sucks
card.
for Johnny. I would have loved to have seen Johnny Gargano have a match in his hometown, but also, do we want to see him lose in a pay-per-view in his hometown?
He already lost that week, so which is a whole nother kettle of fish because, like, you know, love it or hate it, that was a decision that was made. I don't like it personally because I don't think the Bloodline needed it at this point. They could have got that really soon, but they didn't need it today. So outside of that, I think that we probably move into the actual stuff that we have got to talk about rather than just talking, because we'll do this for hours. So the first thing that I want to bring up, the first thing you want to bring up, is that all the rumors that we heard were true. And
everything that we've been saying on the show since March, April?
Actually, it was since Elimination Chamber, because there was the tryouts that happened at the show. And we did hear rumors that WWE had picked up at least 8 wrestlers. We're still waiting on confirmation for some of those. One we don't have to confirm is Delta. And honestly, excellent news for everybody involved. I think the wrestling fans are going to have a ball with this because it opens so many matches up that I think it's genuinely awesome.
Women's division is about to be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, when honestly, you have a look at all their recent signings, are amazing. And then you add into the mix girlie from TNA.
Jordan Grace.
Add her into their mix as well, because I have no doubt come February she's going to be on the main roster, or going to be over there as well. What a roster. Like, the women's division is healthy.
Honestly, it really is. And when I say they need it, I don't mean in a negative way. You know, I say they need it in a way that will allow it to further prosper, because it's already going to be awesome, and you just got to make it a little bit better. I look sweaty as hell. I'm not sweaty. Keep that in mind. The camera quality is just really good today, and I look really tired, and there's lots of reasons for all of that. But don't worry about it. If you see me playing with my camera, watch listeners at home, it's just because I don't like it. But yeah, awesome news.
Yeah, amazing news. And the biggest prospect I can see for this is, in a year or so's time, we're going to see a massive change on the main roster when it comes to the women's division, because whether we like to admit it or not, that women's division is starting to drop off, only because these people are starting to get to the end of their careers. Like, the people that are currently holding that division up are getting to that stage in their careers where they're going to start spending less time on the road and things like that. So we need people to come in and be a challenger for the likes of Rhea, who, tell me who's a genuine challenger on that main roster at the moment to Rhea, apart from maybe Nia.
Honestly, we haven't got it on our list here, but there were rumors yesterday talking about the fact that it looks as if Demand, Becky Lynch, may actually have secretly wound up her time.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but we're not far off that. Even if it's not now, we're only a couple of years off of that.
Yeah, and Charlotte's probably going to be like her dad and wrestle until she's 80.
I don't. Shut up.
Well, she must be just about due to come in and just be
Ruin the
handed the
division.
belt from Nia.
She's got to be close to that. Absolutely. The second we hear they did that. I'm like, ugh. Not a fan. No. Look, no disrespect to the legacy and all that kind of stuff, but I think the problem that I have, again, we're going off topic. I think the problem I have is that Charlotte was force-fed like a big old dick down our throats for the fucking first couple of years that she was there.
Absolutely.
And it was too much.
And later on in the show, I want to have a talk about people being force-fed and it finally working. But let's get on to SummerSlam.
Because I'm going to keep the dick analogy going if you don't stop me, so keep going.
Absolutely. Let's get on to SummerSlam. So I will say this. We're going to jam a few things together between SummerSlam and Raw, just for the sake of time. And there's going to start off with the thing we all saw coming. And look, I will say this about this entire week. A lot of what we got, the end product is what we sort of anticipated, but the stories to get there were amazing. And this
before you mention it, I just want to say this is the golden ticket of Triple H's regime, is that he presents us with stories that we know the answers to, and it doesn't matter because the story that leads us there is really the special part about it. And even though we know, the difference being that when Vince was in charge, I didn't mean to say that, when Redacted is in charge, the whole situation really was, it's the 11th hour and some dickhead on the internet figured out what we're doing. So we're going to scrap all of those plans and no one will end up happy because Vince didn't want people to know his secrets, and ultimately you got a much better show when you know that something's probably going to happen, but you're excited to see how you get there. And that to me is way better now than it has ever been.
Oh, absolutely. I saw another wrestling commentator on YouTube this morning talking about how they watched a movie with their kid the other day, and their kid was like, "Oh, this is going to work out fine in the end, isn't it?" Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, of course it is. You know what the end of the movie is going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But the movie's the journey. So
yeah.
But the collapse of the Judgment Day. We all saw this coming. It's they've been sowing the seeds for a while. And what I will say is they did this absolutely correct.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we did not get this dragged out over a couple of pay-per-views or a couple of weeks or whatever. They pulled the trigger on this and they did it right, starting with Dominic screwing over Rhea Ripley. And it was actually really brilliant, those last few moments of that match. I will say this as the match as a whole, and I said this to you during the match. I sent you a message. The storytelling in that match was masterpiece. And anybody could have walked in to my lounge, sat down, had not watched any WWE for months, and picked up the storyline that was going on in that ring because they told a brilliant story.
And that's the thing too, is that do you rate Liv Morgan as a wrestler on a whole, generally?
Well, not normally, but this match, and I will say the last month or so, is actually, she has changed my opinion on her as a performer.
For fear of needing to censor this, which I just won't because I'm too lazy to, I fucking hate Oblivion. Like, to me, garbage finisher. It is right up there with the Stratisfaction for me as shit finishers. And both of them were incredibly well timed.
Yeah.
Incredibly well timed. And you didn't have to do the bullshit done on the impact of the one on the chair because it hit and it made the entire thing so much better. So full credit to Liv Morgan. You've proved me wrong in this because I actually really liked the match.
Absolutely. And the match not was just really good.
Like, it wasn't just Rhea Ripley. It wasn't. No. And like I really do, like, I would have said, if you had told me going into the match, if you had said to me, hey, Shippy, who's going to be doing all the good shit in the match? Who's going to be making it look good? Who's going to tell the best story? It would have been straight up just Rhea Ripley. But it wasn't in this case. Like,
I've
it was
even
just
got to give props to Dom as well. Like, he had me convinced at one point that maybe he wasn't going to be the one to turn, because when he grabbed that chair out of Rhea's hand,
And he's like,
it
no,
was
you can't
almost
win
it was
the
almost a
belt.
double. It was almost like a little double swerve going on there, because
Yeah.
the crowd was like, "Oh shit, he's about to turn on her." No,
But it
he
made
talk- he
her
talked
go,
sense.
what the fuck are you doing? And
But
then he's like,
but
no.
he started talking sense.
Yeah, yeah.
right?
He's like, no, if you do this, you're losing. You're not going to get the belt. Don't do this. Like, like it really seemed like he cared. And it wasn't until the second one. And even then it was vague. And I'm really glad they went through and they didn't leave it vague.
Yeah,
they
so
had
I
to
was just
make
about
out.
to say that, because I think everything in this match was a brilliant match, but I don't think they stuck to finish. The finish it didn't quite have the impact I think it needed. And as you said, really glad that they did that just straight up kiss at the end, because they really needed to nail that's what happened, because it was was it accidental, was it intentional, all that sort of thing. And then Rhea in ring, her reaction to it was
It was
beautiful.
excellent. Yeah. And that's the thing is that this is only half of our story when it comes to the Judgment Day, because this was really well done and it really did set the seed for later on in the night. Because
throughout the pay-per-view, I think Judgment Day had like
two
three
segments, I think.
Was it two or three segments?
I think it was two. I think there was one after the match and then there was one before the match.
Yeah, and it was building on the story of where's Dominic, where's Rhea, what's happened.
It's the thing is that you look at it and it's like it's rare nowadays for one angle to have 4 spots on a show, and it did. So even if it was only 2, like that still leads to having 4 because there were 2 matches as well.
Yeah.
And the second, I think, what was the line? What did he say to him? I sent it to you. In the promo between JD and Priest afterwards, when he apologized for it, he said something about it being for the Judgment Day. And the second he said that, I'm like, I messaged you and I'm like, that's it. Like that's the end.
Over.
Like as soon as he said that, because look, the best villains and the best villains that Triple H seems to produce are justified villains. And
100%. I want to touch on that later too.
Finn is justified in this.
Yep.
Like he's like, you told me that we would always just be member. And look, I went through this exact gimmick. This is how I broke from the solution. We were supposed to be the same. We were supposed to be partners in this. And it wasn't about you. It was about all of us. We all stand or we all fall. And once you won that belt, it became about you. It became you. We're going to protect you. Don't come out for my match because it's my match. It was never like that before. And in fact, just while we're talking about it, you fucked me out of the belt as well. So, like, he's completely justified in everything that he says.
Absolutely. And I think the way it was executed was really well on the show as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you didn't see it, like like the way. Except I will say I fucking hate it. I'm swearing so much, but I hate it.
We're out of the PG era.
We are. I hate it. We're going to Netflix soon. I hate it. Get your kid off. I'm not far from doing that myself. Just do a bit of a peck flare. There you go, a bit of a dance for you. We're not far right now from really just getting our kid off and doing our thing. But when it comes to the South of Heaven gimmick, I hate it when a guy like Gunther should have rolled to the ropes.
Oh, that was a cock up. That was an
Priest pushing him
cock-up.
and then rolling him up for the pin. That was the fucking mistake. Now, I've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of discourse on the internet saying, hey, you guys didn't believe in Priest, you gave him the ball, and now look what he's doing with it. I will say I think he's still just a little bit away from where he is on the card. Like, I think he's great, excellent, awesome character. But think back to the last show. Think back to the show before that. There's always one moment in his matches where something's a bit fucky. Now, someone who knows what they're doing, and to be fair, Gunther should have known better. Like, should have taken South of Heaven, bumped to his back a little bit, done one roll, even if he was on his tummy near the ropes, and then Priest rolled him for the pin.
That would have made a
different story. Yeah, absolutely. But it became really obvious some shit was about to happen.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a little bit But honestly, the second he did it, he just turned around and just sat like that. And then they utilized that thing we spoke about a few weeks ago where Priest looked at the fucking Titantron and he was like, oh, that's what happened.
The Titantrons aren't invisible anymore.
No, and that's awesome too. And
Yeah.
then, look, I will say, I thought that the best part of the whole match was the fake out when he's losing, and he's reaching. He's like doing these ones towards Finn. He's on the outside. He's like, "You motherfucker!" And then he goes down. But then a second later, he's fighting back. I didn't expect him to fight back. I thought it was over. Roll through the Bret Hart pin, 1, 2, kick out, straight back into the sleeper hold. That's it. It was just the execution of it was great, and like Gunther, I think everyone really wants him to feel like a world champion. Like, I think they do.
Are you not convinced? Yeah.
I think the Ring General, I think that he has all of the tools that he needs. There's a hesitation for me to say I think he's... Well, today we saw him and Randy Orton face off. They feel leagues apart.
Yeah.
Like, if Priest and Orton faced off, they would feel leagues apart. Because they're different generations, obviously. There's a lot more lineage there. But we're so used to this WCW syndrome of seeing these guys who have been around for 45 years at the top of the card that when we start to introduce new talent into it, it doesn't feel like it's where it needs to be at that level that it needs to be. It will come. You give Gunther 5 or 6 good defenses and he'll feel like a world champion. But right now, it kind of feels like the Intercontinental Championship reign, you know? Like, because he built that belt up so high, like it became so much that it doesn't feel like he's dragged the belt down, but it doesn't feel like it's elevated him.
But what have we got next? We've got Bishop Berlin, Bad Blood, Crown Jewel, Survivor Series. So this is the thing, right? Is we actually have a few months where Bishop Berlin, he's going to come out looking awesome. There's no way he loses there. Bad Blood, I think he comes out on top there. Like, you've got a few months of B pay-per-views, and then you've got Crown Jewel, which I don't know what we consider that at the moment.
It's non-canonical.
Yeah. But all of these ones can help build him, give him a lot more credibility and things like that by the time we get into Survivor Series, which is the next A-tier pay-per-view.
I think if he loses, it will kill him.
Which is November.
Like, if he lost to Randy, even though it would be awesome build for Randy, he doesn't need it, and it would kill him. Yeah. I want to see Randy go for the RKO right in front of Gunther's face, like he said today, and I want to see Gunther in midair overhand chop him in the chest as he's doing the RKO.
You don't know what's super interesting? I'm just looking at the list of pay-per-views coming up. We've got nothing confirmed for December and January yet.
WWE Australia.
That's not genuinely. I'm like, there must be a couple of big ones they're negotiating international if they haven't announced anything yet.
What's usually at Christmas?
Good question. I don't know. But so we've got nothing confirmed for Elimination Chamber in January. No, Elimination Chamber's after.
We've got Bad Blood, right, next, after Bash in Berlin.
Yeah, after Bash at Berlin. Before the Rumble, what's the one we normally get in January?
The Rumble.
No, Rumble's February.
It used to be January.
Well, it's the 1st of February, so...
Yeah, it's late January. Yeah. I think that might... I don't think there is one, because I think it might actually give them that extra few weeks or 2 weeks break.
Well, good, if that's the case.
They need it, like, for Christmas, like I would suggest. But, look, there's time, is what the point we're trying to get at right now, is there's time. Unless he loses to Randy Orton in a couple of weeks.
Well, look, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a long tenure of him holding the title. Have him hold it right through to Mania potentially, or to the Rumble. Like
I genuinely don't. I don't want him to look weak, but I don't necessarily want him to have the same kind of reign that he had before.
Yeah.
There's too much going on in the whole company right now to give anyone time like that. You've got too many people in contention. With Roman, it was different because we didn't really have a lot. Like, there were people who you could foreseeably push in that spot, but it wasn't like people who could genuinely just be champion.
Well, the amount of people at the top of the card right now that were in NXT in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, even Dragunov, like, he's gone. Like,
Yeah.
he had his injury kind of thing with Bron. He's got fucking destroyed for weeks on end by Bron, and now what's he doing? I don't know when he'll be back. There's a whole bunch of guys like that. So I think that it's too congested right now to give someone a run like Roman, and I think it's too early as well. So,
well, look, while we're talking about people who have had a long run and have actually won a title this week, I think now's just about time for us to roll the clip on the LA Knight moment of the week.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Man, it's such a good thing. I'm so happy. Honestly, like,
we've been saying for months that they needed to pull the trigger on him, and I was concerned that they had lost the momentum, lost that time, lost that moment. Look, I still think we're in the latter half of that opportunity. That window was getting close. But, dude, how awesome. LA Knight finally got a title, and he looks good with that championship.
Yeah. Watching him in the press conference afterwards, you could just see a complete different person to the one that we've seen. And, like, I actually do not doubt that he had a whole bunch of them hard iced teas before he came to the press conference. It gave me real Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes vibes because he kept interrupting everybody, which was great. And then when Chris Van Vliet started talking as well, and he's like, "Oh, you," like, but no, like, honestly, an excellent match. Honestly, looking at the whole thing, you got to give Logan Paul flowers on this. I know he's a terrible fucking human being, but that match was
Did you
good.
see the amazing short that he put out yesterday, which was a shot of him at practice and the transition into the actual springboard
the springboard moonsault. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's an amazing video. Like, it's almost like he's actually said to somebody in production, "I need you to stand here and get this shot."
Yeah, because this is where it's going to be on the night.
Yeah. I need that one clip for the video.
Well, and honestly, it wasn't even like, I know we talk a lot about moments and how he has been really good at having moments and can he really do it, but man, the match was good. Like, it
was a good match.
There was nothing wrong with the match. It didn't have any troubles doing Hangman's finisher, which was lovely of him. But even that, the transition into the blunt force trauma in that was excellent. He sold it all like a champ. He didn't superstar it or anything like that. Didn't just like be pissy about it. He sold like he was hurt. Like, there was a lot in it that was really, really good.
Look, we've been saying this for months, right? Logan Paul, terrible fucking human being, but he's a pro wrestler.
He gets it, and even in the press conference afterwards, Triple H was talking about it. He's like, he's not
even
here.
Logan Paul was giving him not Logan Paul, even LA Knight.
Yeah, he's not here for a cup of tea.
Moment then.
Oh no! Don't start the Carmelo Hayes stuff. I was actually kind of happy that we didn't see him. I'm not necessarily too keen on him right now. But like, even just to see him do his thing, like, just to know, he's a shit person, but he cares about it and he's trying to be better at it, and that says a lot. So I don't think of him as a celebrity wrestler anymore.
No.
He's just a wrestler.
He's on the roster. He's a pro wrestler. He's turning up almost every week.
Like, Trips even said, he's like, look, the thing is, he's quit everything else.
Yep.
Like, he's doing his social media stuff because that's his bread and butter, but he's quit everything else.
Yeah.
So, like, that's it. He's a shit person.
He's a full-time wrestler, drink entrepreneur, and crypto scam artist full-time.
Look, the thing is that he's a shit human being. He's a wrestler. He's a wrestler for real, because wrestlers are shit human beings too. So,
and like, super happy. We're happy for LA Knight. So
yes,
this is the moment that we've been wanting to have as the moment of the week since we introduced the LA Knight moment of the week.
Oh, you know what? Run it again. Roll the LA Knight moment of the week again.
Let me talk to you.
Congrats, LA Knight.
Yeah, big congrats. I really did like McAfee go through all of his names too. I thought that was special.
Yeah.
Where he was like, Sean Ricker, Eli Drake, and Slade.
Did he go through all of the names?
He mentioned all of his previous names. He's like the man known as LA Knight. No, like, he's there, he's done it. And it was just such a cool cool little moment, I thought.
I completely missed that.
Yeah, no, definitely go and check it out. I really hope I'm not getting my wires crossed and thinking it was on the post-show thing, but I don't think it was. So, yeah, really,
Either
really
way,
good.
wherever it happened, I'm glad that they're giving props, right?
Yeah.
Wrestling history is now WWE canon.
Yes, and it needs to be. It's always needed to be, and now we're in a time where we can actually do that. So,
Yeah. And look, talking about wrestling history and people who have been ignored and brought back, that brings us perfectly into my main event of the night.
to the best in the world and CM Punk.
Okay, dude. What did you think of this match?
Look, it was never going to be bad. Seth Rollins' outfit aside, it was never going to be a bad time. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, obviously, we're talking about. To see him come back at 400 years old, looking as good as he did, was like, yeah, he's a dinosaur, but he's a Jurassic Park dinosaur. Like, he looked excellent, and he could move well. The match didn't miss a single beat. There was one moment at the very end, but that was a timing thing, and it wasn't anything to do with anything anyone did. No one really looked bad in this at all. And I have to say, for all of his detractors and for all of the horrible things that we say about Seth when no one else is listening, nobody sells the go to sleep better than him. He got shot in the head.
And I think he was the only one who took the go to sleep.
No, Drew took it as well.
He did? I can't remember.
Yeah, because he took it and then there was like an 8 count because he was on the outside. Seth was on the outside.
That's right.
But yeah, legitimately, when he got hit with that go to sleep in that match, and also Punk saying nobody cares about your dumb Sabu pants just before it was just a masterpiece. But yeah, the shot with it was just beautiful, and it was retribution as well. Like, because you've got a lot of back and forth. You've got this piece of shit, honestly, an awesome dude as far as everything goes, but a piece of shit also. There's a lot of reasons for Seth to be mad, and there are a lot of justified reasons, but also Seth can come across like a spoiled baby, and now I think that Punk's given him a reason to be mad. Yeah. Like, which is what it needed to be, because otherwise it's just Seth going, you went to AEW, you don't care about wrestling, all that kind of shit.
Well, this is the thing, right?
It stops being that, and it just starts being sour grapes.
Seth's problem with Punk, I'm not sold on, right? It's not one of those things where I feel like that's a genuine heat and blah, 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 blah. It just feels like wrestling storyline.
Yeah.
But McIntyre is a genius.
Yes.
And this entire thing, I've been saying it, you've been saying it, is he is justified in everything he does. I learned something this week about Drew McIntyre that made it all make sense to me. Mm-hmm. Did you know Drew McIntyre has a degree in criminology?
I did. He said that this week.
Yeah. So I heard that, and my wife is studying for a degree in law and criminology at the moment. Yeah. And I mentioned this to my wife, and she said the same thing. And she was like, well, it all makes sense now. Everything he is doing has to stand up in a court of law in his head. Yeah. And that's why, is he the bad guy? Because in his head, he's justified.
He is absolutely justified.
And he could make a solid case, and he has made a solid case as to why he's not the bad guy. Punk's the bad guy. And then Punk comes out and looks like a smarmy prick and acts like the good guy. And
I've said
it's amazing that, like, he's had this degree for years, and it feels like it's only in the last couple of years where he's really got it. And he's gone, this thing that I know how to do professionally, that I trained how to do,
I can use it.
I can use that here. Like, and it's been amazing.
We've been saying it for the longest time, and we've even said it today, is that the best heels are justified in their own mind. Whether it's real or if it's some fabrication that they believe to be real, the best heels are the ones who believe that they are in the right, that they are doing the right thing for whatever reason.
They're not just being a bad guy to be a bad guy. It's the same thing.
They're like, hey, you made me do this.
Yeah,
you know,
it's the same thing we had for the last 3 years with Roman. He had a reason for everything he was doing. He was feeding the family. He was holding up the bloodline and all that sort of thing. He was justified in everything he did.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's exactly the same with Drew. I actually am starting to now look at the Drew Punk story and go, Punk's the guy that doesn't really feel like he's got a reason to be angry at anybody.
No, he honestly just feels like he's doing it to be a dick.
Yeah, apart from Drew injuring him, what's his problem with Drew?
He took his bracelet.
Yeah, which, by the way,
hurt him.
Shout out to Victoria, who made that bracelet.
Yes.
So
I hope they do something for her.
I totally do as well. So that bracelet is a legit fan present to CM Punk.
Yeah.
And how cool is it that this girl gave this bracelet because she's a fan, and it's now become canon in WWE story.
Yeah, it's this full-on thing now.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really special. And I do hope that they cop some tickets to WrestleMania for it or something, just as a way to say thank you for all of what it's caused and what it's done. Because it just started as they were like, hey, that's a cool bracelet, we should use that. It's just some noticed thing, this fly by the fucking probably was just something on the day, and now it's become this.
If you remember right, around about then was when the rumors were around that AJ was going to come back.
Yeah,
and
so it makes sense.
I have no doubt there was how do we tie AJ into this somehow? Oh, I've got this bracelet that I just got given.
Yeah, I'm wearing this bracelet and it's got my dog and everyone loves my dog. Yeah. So why can't we just use this? So full credit. I hope there is a bit of a cop for it because I do feel like it would be, it'd be nice.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Where do you think the storyline goes from here, though?
Cage. No, it goes to it goes to a Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood, I think.
And do you think it's a three-way?
No, I don't, because Seth Rollins is dead now because Bronson Reed killed him today.
This is true. This is true.
Big Bronny Reed gave him 6 fucking tsunamis today. He's actually a dead man.
About time that Jonah got something.
Yeah. And the pops, but it's not on our list either, but the escalation of Pop
and
every time he went back up.
Triple H doubled down on it this today too and tweeted about him.
Yep.
If you're going to make an impact, make an impact.
Yep, it's time. And it's awesome to see. Because the crowd were to begin with. But then when he didn't fight back and Bronson just hit him with the DVD and then just give him forever tsunamis, every time he hit one, the crowd were losing their minds. So he has to deliver now in the ring, which I know he can. I've wrestled him. I know he can. Bit of a name drop there, but I know he can do it. He absolutely has all the tools needed, every single one of them. He's got about an extra 100 more tools than he had when we wrestled as far as kilos go, because he's enormous now.
But in saying that, he looks enormous, but he was looking in good shape today.
He can move, and he is a tank of a person. He is a walking refrigerator, and that's not a bad thing because the fridge is full of steaks. He's huge, but he looks massive and strong and imposing.
Well, I was looking at a video of him on Instagram or something that he put up of him lifting. Yeah. And he looks amazing.
Yeah, no, he is. The bathing suit that he wears does him no justice. But it's part of the gimmick to look a little bit like Bam Bam Bigelow. It's definitely instruction
but he moves
from the
like
office.
Bam Bam.
Yeah. Well, he's changed his moveset up to do that as well. Things like the big splash when they're standing and all that kind of shit, the body tackle and everything like that. But yeah, awesome to see. Not even on our list, but really, really cool. Punk and McIntyre, excellent match. Just to revert back to what we were talking about, I really did like all of it. I was really happy with it. It didn't feel slow. It didn't feel shit. Everyone looked good. Even Drew said, you proved you can still go. All of that. That was way more like someone else. And not McIntyre. I liked him and Bad News Barrett talking about going out for a beer afterwards on the post show as well. I thought that was funny. But speaking of beers, that brings us to having a cup of tea. In fact, having a 15-minute cup of tea, because the overshadowing of Solo Sikoa has continued today over the last 48 hours. The poor dude, I feel for him because he can do stuff. He's very young. He's got a lot of shit left to do. And he had a good match with Cody Rhodes.
He had a good match. And the other thing was a video came out on Twitter this week. Someone shared a video from a movie he was in. He can act.
Yeah.
Like he's a really good actor.
He's got all of it. He has all of it. But the tribal chief is back.
But in saying that, I genuinely think the way Solo's being presented has been very intentional.
Yes.
It has been very intentional to be like, we want you to go out there, act like you think you deserve it, but we want you to act like you don't deserve it.
Yes, like even with the tag belts, like in the same spot that Roman used to keep the 2 championships and all of that. Jacob Fatu has already done his job of completely overshadowing Solo Sikoa. But how he looks like he might be a little bit hurt too. Hopefully not. He's got a moon boot on, as we've seen. So there was a spot on the show for those listening who didn't watch where Jacob hit a splash as he did before from the top rope through the table on the outside. He actually doesn't look like, I've seen both angles now, it doesn't look like he really hits.
No, but he sold that like it was the end of his career.
Yes. Like, so he's smashed his leg and he's in a moon boot. I honestly think it's a tweak. Because if it was more, like I don't even think his legs connect with the actual table. They look like they do, but on the other angle, he actually swivels his body around and it doesn't look like it hits much at all.
There's a report out there saying that he was intentionally had to sell that spot as an injury for the end of the match, right?
Because he couldn't be in Roman's face because then that would lead them facing off and that's the match.
Exactly. But I think it might have been a thing where he's genuinely knocked his shin and gone, fuck, that hurts, and gone, okay, I'll sell that.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, what amazing ring awareness.
Great match. I know we buried the lead, but great match. Like all the way through, KO and Orton returning made sense. I don't think
it was a great match from start to finish. I felt like that first 5 to 10 minutes was an okay match. It was an okay match, right? It wasn't until they did Endgame Part 2, which was more like the Defenders coming out rather than the Avengers coming out. But there's where the match picked up for me is we had Randy come out, we had KO come out. Did we have anyone else come out on his side?
No. No. I would have liked Dustin, but I just don't think we're getting that. But yeah, no, it was well done. I think the match really turned around the time they did the AJ copy, like with the steps.
Yep.
Cody looks like a dick still when he does that. I don't know why they do it, but also
he should be doing
fucking mask in the universe. Please stop wearing it. You look like
this one looked worse than the WrestleMania one.
I tweeted a bobblehead.
It's exactly what I tweeted the moment he came out. But I think in my tweet I said he looks ridiculous. He looks like a bobblehead. On the other hand, brilliant move. There's going to be a toy out in the next week.
Yeah. For the toys and all that stuff, awesome. For the extra outfits on 2K24, awesome. But
that was so oversized. It looks stupid.
It was ridiculous. I hope it like comically gets larger every time, and eventually he just has this enormous fucking head.
The one thing we did totally overshadow with this match as well is Cody's walkout. We got the return
for
of Brock Anderson.
Oh wait, yes, we did. We got Arn Anderson, and there was a moment where he clearly passed a gun to Cody when they were talking.
And he whispered into his ear and he was like, it's a tribal rules match, a bloodline rules match. The Glock is legal.
The Glock is legal, baby. Yeah, man, it's awesome to see. Like, I saw a comment from him saying, I'm 67 years old and my liver's 127, so I don't have much time left. But I want to do what I can do. I would love to see him do some more stuff, even if it's in the back producing, because his mind for wrestling is
the dude's got a lot of shit to share, right?
Yeah.
A lot of knowledge to share. And I'd like to at least see a couple of months of him side by side with Cody.
I would bet you $100 he could still hit that spine buster.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it would still look as pretty as it did.
It's funny because Arn looked like he was in his 60s.
Yeah.
back in WCW.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. That it was awesome, and we did see the last time ever for Pharaoh being taken off the road now. So hopefully Cody stops talking about it now. I don't care. I don't care about the dog, bro.
Explains the bobblehead because all of a sudden that merch opportunity's dropped off. So
Yeah. But hey, it was good. I enjoyed it. Roman's music is different, but only for the first 10 seconds, and
Bro,
it's very annoying for people.
I liked that intro. I liked the lighting change. I liked the doof, doof.
Yeah.
Because it was a moment of, is it?
Yeah. And then when he walked out and it starts with the proper chant, like the actual music.
I personally liked. I saw a lot of hate for it.
No, I thought it was great.
I personally thought it was awesome. And having Roman back has completely changed the entire top of the card again.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, not for the better for a few people on it.
No,
because I like what Cody's done, but in one return, he's kind of completely been overshadowed again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So that's what I mean. I don't think the story that they're about to tell with the bloodline, they need titles. But if you don't have the bloodline in the title picture, who does Cody have in the title picture over the next couple of months?
Yeah. Not Randy now.
No.
And none of the other people we would put in there.
Like I said, we've got 4 months until Survivor Series, which is going to be, I think, the big payoff for the Blood Pack and OG Bloodline.
Yeah. I think that will be the end of it. But it will be the start of the next chapter because I fully expect The Rock to cost Roman Reigns that match.
Yep.
I fully expect that, and then them to build to WrestleMania and have their match at Mania this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this last 4 days has felt like a complete reset of the WWE.
Yes, we have done our weekly reset, except it's been a lot longer than a week. It is a complete reset because SummerSlam, as we've said in personal conversation, every belt but
Bar
one.
two?
No, well, every belt bar two, but then you
hands.
remove one of those because you add Dom as the belt.
Yeah.
So pretty much every title changed hands except for one, because at the end of the day, Liv won Dom in that match too. So it's crazy that they have reset everything except for the tag belts, which they still have to do one of. But everything else, the landscape's completely different now. And that's really, really exciting. And on exciting, holy fuck this week.
Look, there's a reason why I had this last point in here till the end, because I knew both me and you were going to gush over this.
Holy fuck. Like, man, from the moment, and also really quickly, American made awesome tag name. I'm really happy for it. Really good team, really cool. I like the fact that Kurt Angle music is there with the "You Suck." It's cadence wise, it fits. So you get "You Suck" all the way down.
They've addressed the issue we had in the last episode.
Yes, they have. They've given them new music that gives you a better chance to say "You Suck." That we used to do with Kurt Angle. So all of that, the new gear looks sick. I like that. Also, they didn't just ignore the fact that the Creeds had a manager before. Like, they addressed that on Raw as well. And he was like, come on, let's go. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, that's cool. But nothing as cool as from the moments the first note of Shatter hit and the fact that it became Shatter and they're using the music, it felt like everything that we've worked for up until this point was for this moment because this was the vision that Bray had with the Wyatt Six. And you could see it in their movements. You could see it in their eyes when they got there, all the way down to Bo sitting on the chair and blowing the thing out. The lights come on, the smoke's there, and then everybody just fucking bolts to the ring.
Genuinely, with that intro, I felt like all six were there.
Yes. Yeah, it really did. And, you have Abby sitting at the feet of Uncle Howdy.
Spooky as fuck.
And he's just sitting there laughing at everything. And, man, the ring work of every person
Every
in
single
that match.
person.
Every single one. The moment with Dexter Loomis at the very start, once they cleared the ring and the crowd were chanting, "This is awesome," and then the match starts and Dexter Loomis is on his hands, crawling like he's been cut in half around that ring. The moment for me, the Joe Gacy one in the corner.
I was never a Dexter Loomis fan.
Wow.
But, dude, now?
So different character now.
Yeah, this is
like
amazing.
Everything, the way he moves, everything. The Joe Gacy thing got me, almost made me tear a little bit when he hit the corner upside down and he like folded back. I'm like, that's
but
just
he made
great.
it his own.
Yes, yeah, because he didn't do the same thing. Like he did the roll into the turnbuckle.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that just looks like Bray. Like that's the perfect choice. Every move they hit the reverse 3D. Like the
Rowan's spot with Brody's. Yep.
Doing these ones.
Yep. The whole thing was amazing.
Yeah.
The whole thing was amazing. This match was a great match, and it was the match that they needed to have to establish these guys as a wrestling faction, because up until now, they have not been a wrestling faction. They have been a faction of characters that are terrorizing backstage, right? Or terrorizing a select few. And this was, they're back. They are wrestlers. They're a faction of amazing
they looked
talent
good.
that are
like
going
everything
to destroy
about
you.
Like, because they obviously left Rowan as the big hot tag, the big moments guy.
Yeah.
But when he was in there, everything he did, he's never been crisp like that.
No.
Like, he has gone and gotten better in his time away, because everything he hit was awesome. The only thing that kind of sucked was the rollover after he did the tribute, but he's a big dude, man. That's scary. I get it. Everything he did, amazing. Joe Gacy made me pretty much instantly a fan. Like, I saw a bit. I didn't like what he did on NXT very much.
I don't know a lot about Joe Gacy's previous work, because basically his entire time on NXT was when I was not watching NXT.
The Poos era. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on it. But made me immediately like, yes, this is what I want to see. It was the right kind of crazy. It wasn't Tama Tonga Gollum crazy. It was just purposeful and psychotic.
Yeah.
And Loomis as well. Like, just throwing his body. He's like, pick me up, motherfuckers. I don't care. Throw me. Like, awesome.
You know, the other thing I loved about Loomis, this is a little personal thing. You've seen the photos of me back 20 years ago when I used to be in a band.
Yeah.
So I used to be in a band, and I did the whole face paint thing. And I had a massive X on my forehead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw that, and I was just like, you know, I'm a new favorite wrestler because you've got my thing. It must be what you feel like. Must be what you feel like when you see someone doing
For watch listeners at home, it's just the same haircut.
Well, that's what I mean. It must be the same thing you get when you see someone that is doing a gimmick similar to the work you've done, where you've gone, I like this.
Yeah. No, and honestly, it is, because I see echoes of what I did in all of the Wired Six stuff, because we've spoke about that before. There are a lot of parallels to it, and I like it makes me feel almost like home. You know, like there's like a bit of a vibe like that, where it makes me think about all of that stuff too. So I really like.
I've always loved my spooky bad guys in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like in this current era, these guys are doing it the right way, where it's not so much that it's magic or voodoo and all that sort of shit, but it's more psychological. It's a psychological
in here.
bad guys. Yeah. And that's what I like about it, because this is shit that you can actually picture someone going crazy and being like, I am the Wizard King.
Yes. And they backed it up.
Yeah, and I'm going to go and commission a $2,000 mask so that people believe me.
Oh, but they backed it up by actually being brutal, you know, by actually, like, it wasn't just all the mental. There was a physical aspect to it too.
Oh, absolutely.
And it really came across.
Yeah. So, look, my tweet after that entire thing was for Bray, for Brody.
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like. It was.
Yep.
It felt like that was the match to establish these guys and move forward. And
it was almost like saying goodbye, but not, you know, like there was like a moment of that.
I feel like this is where they have to go from here, right? Is we've had this period of mourning. We've had this period of honoring and respecting and all that sort of thing. They're always going to carry that with them.
Yeah,
right?
But forge a new path.
But this is the moment from here on in where they need to forge themselves and establish themselves as we are the Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
And we always look back.
Yeah. And still keep all
But
of
we're
the
moving
things,
forward.
but it doesn't need to be carbon copies of everything, like
Exactly.
still keep it all and do it all. But
I can't wait to see how we're talking about these guys in a year's time.
yeah, and I really hope we are. I really hope it's continued and everything that we want is from here is excellent.
Yeah.
Because for me, this was an absolute highlight. It was exactly what it needed to be. And all the motherfuckers who are like, they're awesome characters, spooky, ooh, but what are they going to do? Well, they just showed you what they can do.
Yeah.
And Bo hasn't even stepped in the ring properly yet.
No.
So you've still got that.
And look, I think we said it last week or on the previous episode, was they've also proven us wrong.
Yeah.
They've done things that we said, I hope they don't do this.
Yeah.
They've done it and it's worked. So
It's worked. Exactly right.
I love being proven wrong.
I do, and I love the Wyatt Six. I'm just like it's so good. So you've done that right.
Next piece of merch I buy is going to be Wyatt Six merch, and I haven't bought any WWE merch in a wee while, so I'm going to probably pick up some Wyatt Six merch.
You know that you can go to like a link in the description, right?
Oh, we've got that link in the description.
Yeah, you can go there and get the Wyatt Six merch today.
At WWEshop.com?
At WWEshop.com. You can go there, support your boys, and get yourself some of the Wyatt Six merch. I know I will.
Look, legitimately, I am actually going to buy some Wyatt Six merch. It's not just a whole gimmick, this one.
Don't forget to click the link, though.
But I will be also clicking the link because, it does support us. And,
exactly,
And look, if you guys are already looking at buying yourselves some merch from WWE, we ask, go to the effort, click the link. You're going to get exactly the same product. Sometimes we'll even drop you a wee code if you keep an eye on us on social media where there may be some discounts, but even just clicking that link actually supports us because WWEshop.com does support us, so we appreciate them.
Were your fingers broken? You can't click a link? You think you're better than a link? Come on, don't be dumb. Just click the link.
Yeah.
Click the link, get yourself some cool merch.
Talking about WWE merch.
I don't want to talk about the next thing. It's boring.
I'm not going to talk about the next thing. I was actually going to finish off by talking about Roman's return and how it's already proven to be a financially viable fucking decision.
Okay, good.
The dude moves the needle, right? So there's a report that came out that he had already made $800,000 for the company in the first hour just from his limited edition belts.
And yeah, because they sold one for every day he was champion.
Yeah, 1,316 belts.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were all like $600 a piece.
$600 USD a piece,
which is like $1,200 for us.
And they sold every single one of them, and they're actually reselling on eBay at the moment for $1,316.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. But that's the thing. You can't dispute it. Something like 100 million views across social media in the first 24 hours.
And the thing is, the people are saying about how he's made that much for them. He's made more because there would have also been T-shirts, hats, hoodies, all that sort of stuff would have just sold like crazy over the last.
That's only going through the physical stuff, like sponsorships, ad revenue, all of the extra money. Like, man, he has made bank in one thing: a Superman punch, the loudest ooh-ah we've heard probably ever, and a spear, and a look at Cody Rhodes. Man, like, it's wild. And I don't think this era of him being a babyface is a one-off thing. I think that we're going to see everything that we always wanted with the Shield and then didn't want when we got it because Fruity Pebbles syndrome, suffer and succotash. I think we're going to get the proper, true version of Roman Reigns as a babyface.
The thing is, every good babyface we've seen has had to go through a heel period. Like, look at Cena.
Yep.
He did the whole chain gang bad guy thing for a long time before he got over as a face, and eventually they had to turn him face because people loved him so much. Same thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Same thing with The Rock. Like, all of the uber babyface guys have started off as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Or got over as a bad guy.
But that's the thing. That was always the thing. It's always been the establishment. I'm going to say a catchphrase over and over again. You're going to boo it. And then one day, when I'm a babyface, you're going to know the words.
Yeah.
You're going to know the words. You're going to buy the T-shirt. That's all it is. It's basic, man. And time again,
this weekend,
you see when we get a babyface that's pushed down our throats, it never works.
Yeah, exactly right. You said we got the biggest ooh-ah in history. This weekend, we're about to get the biggest acknowledge me.
Mm-hmm.
And
on Friday night,
most amount of these ones,
yep.
One's up in the air.
Imagine right in the ring, Solo Sikoa, acknowledge me.
Yeah,
that's going to be massive.
I am surprised, talking about crowd reactions, though, that we didn't get a Dom promo this week.
Oh my! It wouldn't holy shit. Yeah. To be fair, he was barely on the show.
Yeah. Like, they probably should have given him a promo, because that would have been the loudest boo he's ever gotten.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it'll happen.
Has to happen next week.
Has to happen next week.
Yeah.
Unless it happens on SmackDown, because now it doesn't matter where anyone is.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's a wild time to be a wrestling fan. We've been saying it for months. It has not changed. It's actually probably wilder now than it was the last time we said it. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing where we go from here. I can't predict any of it. The only thing I think we'll see is The Rock and Roman at Mania, Punk and Seth at Mania. That's already an incredible WrestleMania.
Yeah. No, you've already booked night 1, night 2.
Yeah. And I've already sold tickets for it. Because the second there, that's actually it.
The only thing that could bump Seth and CM Punk off that main event is the rumor that is going around that Stone Cold has apparently made noise that he could potentially come back this year.
I've heard that. So he can wrestle Jelly Roll.
Which, by the way,
what a chokeslam.
That chokeslam was amazing. We give Austin Theory so much shit, but he made Jelly Roll look like a fucking monster.
Straight out of SmackDown versus Raw, straight out of Here Comes the Pain. That was Kane's one-arm chokeslam, and it was beautiful.
It was amazing.
Man, he's a big motherfucker. You don't see it until you see him against people who are big already.
Big motherfuckers. Yeah.
He's twice as wide as every wrestler in that ring.
Yeah.
Easily.
Did you see our Truth's tweet today?
Yeah, about Post Malone. Oh my goodness!
Oh my god, I met Post Malone.
It's working on a collab together.
Yeah,
so good. Oh mate, look, it's been a week. And it just feels like I've got fatigue from being thoroughly entertained.
Totally.
I'm actually burnt out in a good way.
Yeah.
I'm happy SmackDown's later in the week.
We've had so much over the last couple of days of thing. We planned to have 2 shows, and I think we could have filled 2 shows this week.
Easily.
We've squeezed this much in, and we have not even talked about everything that happened. We haven't even talked about the fact that All In is in 2 weeks.
No. Fuck All In. Look, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care anymore. You don't make me care. You don't make me care. I like MJF's suit, but you don't make me care.
Yeah.
And
I feel like we had notes down here to talk about it.
We did, and that's the thing I didn't want to talk about because it's fucking boring.
But it's also, we don't really have anything to talk about because we haven't been following it.
All we can talk about is the shit we see online with the suit and the championship, which looks like dog shit. But
I do think it's a brilliant move, though. That is
absolutely. It's on purpose, dog shit, for sure.
This is some good heel shit.
It is, but I just don't have the patience for it right now.
Yeah.
And they're not giving me a reason to. They're not giving me a reason to tune in. The only thing I care about is that Bryan Danielson has said he's going to retire, which I don't think he will, because I think he'll just win the belt.
Yep. I think he'll go part-time.
I think he'll win the belt, have a good run with it, and that will be his last year.
Yep.
Personally.
Yeah.
But
let's not even go too deep into it. There's nothing really we can talk about. We're only going off rumors. White 6 is awesome.
Let's just go back to that for a minute. I love the White 6, even the stupid jump scare at the end of every segment. It's fine.
Talking about that, hopefully in November, me and you have got to book a tattoo appointment in Melbourne.
Yes, we do. Or, anytime. You can come over. We tattoo now. Don't you have a tattoo gun? We can machine. I didn't want to say gun. I hate that. I hate when people say tattoo gun. You got a tattoo machine. Just bring that over here. We just
it'll be the worst tattoo you've got.
We'll do the worst tattoo. I've got some shit tattoos. Thank you very fucking much.
Well, that's what my next one. I need to cover up this arm because it is like the only home job tattoo that I've got, and it was done like 20 years ago when I was in that band I was talking about earlier in the show.
I think if you got a printer, like a tattoo machine printer, and actually put something like a stencil, I think you'd do a fine job.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about at all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true. Yeah. Phid, thank you for being here. Thank me for being here. You're welcome, Shippy. You're handsome today. I know. And as always,
Wait,
we got something else to say first, apparently.
I've just got one last thing. Make sure you tune into the next episode because next episode is the big ooh-ah 4-0.
Oh yeah, keep getting your stuff in for things that we should do. Because so far, the only thing that we have, I want to do something else.
Hit us up. Give us some ideas of stuff you want us to do. For
what
the
do you want us
episode.
to do? I'm not eating anything spicy because I'm still suffering from last time we spoke.
Should we bring in substitute bets in for that episode?
Yeah, you guys tell us. You vote. We'll put a poll up on the thing. Tell us if you want substitute bets in for the 40th episode or not. Because if not, we're just time to get fucked. And if so, we'll tell them to come in. We could drink. That's an option. We could do the drunk episode. Oh, that's a good option, actually. But yeah, put your stuff in there. I don't really drink at the moment, so it would be a dangerous time. Let us know what you want to see. Thank you for being here. And as always, we'll see you down under the ring. Ooh, put the ones up.